Okay, let's jump in right away. So again, we're covering specifically deserts, and the way that I've set this up is that I put the deserts in climate zones. That's how I've kind of set it up. And we're going to go over each type of desert that exists, the natural ones, because when it comes to fantasy, they can be whatever it is that you really want them to be. Okay, so the first, there are these types of deserts are subtropical deserts. These are located in both northern and southern parts of the hemisphere, and they're generally the result of like global patterns known as convection cells. A great example of that would be like the Sahara Desert. There's also mid-latitude deserts. These are both in the northern and southern hemispheres, and they're a result of more regional precipitation patterns or rainfall patterns. A good example of that would be like the Sonoran Desert in North America. There's also polar deserts. These are located generally in the polar regions or in the frigid zones, as you can see on my climate guide that I made here. These forms are formed by like the result of like global air circulation. A great example of this would be like the continent of Antarctica. You also have coastal deserts. These are generally located along the coastlines of big seas. Now, this is fantasy. You can have a coastal desert along an ocean, but if you're going for more realistic, they're going to be along a sea, and a sea is different from an ocean, just to make that clear, okay? A good example of that would be like the Atacama Desert of Chile. You also have interior deserts. These are located in the middle of a continent, and so they're pretty far removed from large sources of water like the ocean, seas, rivers, and stuff. And so an interior desert's going to be somewhere away from the major water sources. So they're usually in the heart or the interior of a continent. A good example of that is the Taklamakan Desert in China. We also have a couple more. There's also a rain shadow deserts. These are formed because of mountain ranges that block moisture from reaching that desert region. It's called a rain shadow. And the last one is called a monsoon desert. I missed out on the example of a rain shadow desert. That would be the Death Valley of the Mojave Desert. There's also a monsoon desert. These only form in places where they're like affected by seasonal monsoons. They generally occur within like the tropical areas, but you could have one. It's fantasy. You could have them in subtropical as well. So those are the different types of deserts that exist. And you notice that I placed them all very carefully in the guide. Just know that this is flipped. So if you're wondering like, well, what about the southern hemisphere? Just flip that. The coastal deserts, interior deserts, rain shadow deserts, and monsoon deserts can be found in tropics, both the tropics of the northern and southern hemispheres. So just follow that, flip that guide. So now that you kind of